Let me know if this sounds like you. You'll ask Claude to make a change, and if you don't like it, you ask Claude to back out everything and then try a different approach. And sometimes you actually lose a lot of valuable work along the way. This is slow, frustrating, and quite honestly, you're leaving a lot of Claude Code's power on the table. Instead, what if I told you could create multiple versions of your project? You could then point a Claude Code instance to each one and let these agents run in parallel, and they were completely independent. And by the end of the process, you can compare the different results and simply pick your favorite. Now, this is exactly what Git Worktrees with Claude Code allow you to do. And I know the moment I said Git, a lot of you tensed up. But don't worry, you don't have to be an expert in Git to use Git Worktrees right away. And by the end of this video, you'll be running multiple Claude Code instances in parallel like nothing. So to demonstrate how this works, I'm going to ask Claude Code to create a landing page for a fitness tracker app. Now, I haven't provided any MCP servers or skills or nothing special. I'm simply asking Claude to create a very simple fitness tracker app, and that's it. And the app is called Claude Fit, and it can come up with its own copy, use stock images, whatever it wants. So in this instance, we're simply relying on the training data on Claude to produce this output. Alright, so while Claude is cooking, let's actually try and explain what's happening here. Alright, so by default, we have our main branch in our project, and then we have our Claude Code session that's connected to this main project folder. Now, what if we wanted to create different variants of a solution to kind of see which one would work best for our business requirements? As a simple example, let's say we wanted to redesign the application, the UI, but we don't really know which type of design we want to go with. We want to see the application, or we want to see the design in action, and maybe even compare them side by side before making a choice. Now, that is impossible with a solution like this, because we can only have one project active at any point in time. So yes, we could ask Claude to change the UI on main, but in order for us to try a different look and feel, we'll have to back out these changes and then get Claude to change the UI to a different style, review the changes, back it out, etc. Of course, we could simply create different branches. So we could have a main branch, or we could create a second branch for, so this one could be, I don't know, purple. We could create a different branch with a color like red, I don't know. So we could try different styles, but the problem is you can only have one active branch at any point in time. So you kind of have to tell Claude, all right, you should no longer point to main, you now need to point to purple, or now need to point to red. So Claude can only work on a single branch at any point in time, and we will not be able to compare these side by side. We have to manually switch between them, and that's really not ideal. Where Worktrees is very different. So yes, we'll have a Claude instance that's pointing at our main project, but what we can also do is create Worktrees. So let's call this Worktree 1, and this is actually a replica of our project folder. So this really is a copy of the project folder on our file system. But there's a lot more to it than simply copying and pasting the folder. This main branch is aware of all of the worktrees that it's linked to. So we could have Worktree 1, we could have Worktree 2, and maybe even a third variant. And our main branch is linked to all three of these. Now, because each of these worktrees are independent project folders, each of these can have their very own Claude Code instance running. So each of these Claude Code instances can be working on a worktree without affecting any of the other worktrees. In our example, to be able to really visualize this, we're going to ask Claude to implement a different UI pattern for each of the different worktrees. But in reality, you can do a lot more with worktrees than simply comparing different variants. Let's say that you want Claude to work on a massive feature in one worktree, and maybe Claude can work on a bug in another worktree. So once Claude has implemented the bug fix in this worktree, we can simply merge these changes back into main, and this worktree is unaffected and this agent continues working. Anyway, let's dive into it. I think it will make a lot of sense once we start playing with this. So at the moment, we've got a super vanilla design for our fitness tracker app. This looks like the kind of AI slop that we've all come to love. Look, it's not bad, but it definitely looks very generic and like everything else that these AI agents seem to produce. So let's say we wanted to try out different techniques to see if we can get an even better design. So what we're going to do is create separate work trees. For Worktree 1, we're going to assign a skill. So we'll assign a front-end design skill to Claude Code to see how it improves this design. For Worktree 2, we'll create a design system instead. So we will not rely on the skill. We'll provide a reference image to see if we can match that reference design. And of course, we can get as creative and experimental as we want. But for Worktree 3, I think we should get really creative. Let's not use Claude for this one. And let's use Gemini 3.1 Pro, which was just released today. So that way we can compare different designs, different techniques, and even different models. I'm telling you now, Git Worktrees is an absolute must, especially to do side-by-side comparisons between all these different models. So with that said, I'm just going to clear our conversation, and at the moment you will notice I only have one subfolder, and this is for this fitness tracker app, and this is our main project. In Claude Code, I'm going to say the following. Please create 3 Git Worktrees. 1. Skills. 2. Design system. And 3. Gemini 3.1 Pro. Let's run this. If you're a developer, you can definitely just run the Git commands, but I really wanted to show the easiest way to get this going. Now, watch this. Claude just created 3 new folders, and they are at the same level as the main project. And if I zoom in a bit, you can see the names. So we've got Fitness Tracker Skills, Fitness Tracker Gemini, and Fitness Tracker Design System. These are full replicas of the original project. And you can see this in the file system as well. So this really means you can treat each of these folders like a separate project, or you can open up your terminal in those folders and run Claude Code. So let's start with the first one, with Skills. Since this is a separate project folder, I'm actually going to cd into Fitness, Tracker, and Skills. I'm actually just going to rename this one to Skills. Cool. In this folder, I'm going to run Claude Code, but now this Claude Code instance is pointing to the Skills worktree. In fact, before I run Claude Code, let's install the front-end design skill. So let's go to skills.sh, then let's go to front-end design skill. Let's copy this command. Let's run it in the terminal. In the skills folder, by the way, I'll select Claude Code, and that should be it. Cool. Now let's start Claude. If we have a look at our skills, this agent has access to the front-end design skill. Perfect. So let's say, hey, I need you to redesign this fitness tracker app using your front-end design skill. Carefully consider colors and font choices and even stock images that fit the theme of a fitness tracker app. And let's send this. I just want to make sure that it is going to use the skill, which it does. All right, cool. So this variant is currently running. I'm going to open up another session. This one I'll rename to Design System. Then it's also cd into the correct folder, Design System, and we can just bring up Claude Code. Now this Claude Code instance does not have any skills assigned to it, just the Find Skills skill, which we will not use. And instead what we'll do is we'll go to a website like Dribble, and let's look for fitness website, and let's look for something that we like. So maybe we can go with something like this. I think this is a really clean design. So I'm actually going to copy this image. I'll paste it into the chat, and let's say, actually in this design system folder, I'm just going to create a new subfolder called Docs. And in that, I'll just create another folder called Design, and I'll put it into this conversation. And let's say, please create a complete design system based on the attached image. So I need you to match the fonts, the color schemes, the layout, the design, the vibe, then create a complete design system and store it in the docs/design folder. And then while these are running, let's actually look at the Gemini 3.1 Pro example. So for that, we're not going to use Claude Code, and instead I'm going to use Google's Anti-Gravity IDE. So I'm just going to open up that specific Worktree folder. Awesome. And then let's see how good Gemini 3.1 Pro is with UI designs. hey, I need you to redesign this fitness tracker app as it's very bland and very AI slop-ish. I want you to do your best to correct the font and the colors and the style and the vibe to work with a fitness tracker app. Also lean into your strength of creating animations and SVGs. And nice, that seems to be cooking. So now we have 3 agents working in parallel on the same code base. It's kind of like having multiple universes, where each has a very different take on the exact same project. And by the end of this, we'll select our favorite design and merge it back into our main project. Git knows exactly what worktrees exist and what the relationship between the main branch and those worktrees are. In fact, if I go to source control, we can see all of our worktrees in here, along with the changes per worktree. And if you simply copied and pasted the folders yourself, you would be in big trouble. Because Git knows exactly what's going on, we can simply tell Git that we prefer the changes in this worktree, so please merge the changes into our master branch, and we'll be able to deal with conflicts and everything else. It just works. And here we go. So the agents just completed their work. So let's start with the skills agent. I'm just going to ask it, please can you run the dev server for me? And if I go to this background job, you can see that our app is running on port 3000. And this is what Claude Code with the design skill produced. And I must say, I think this looks really cool. I do like the font, I do like the colors. Everything is like bold and in your face. It's just really, really cool looking. It even added a bit of a stock image in the background. So definitely not a bad start to a fitness tracker application. Right, the design system is still busy, as it took a bit longer because it first had to create the actual design system. So in the folder, I could just show you, in the docs folder, we have a proper design system that we can use going forward. So this is really useful. As we're working on the app, we can just ask the agent to reference this design folder to ensure that the design and everything is consistent. But it seems like the agent is almost done, so it's not that bad. And I can see that Gemini 3.1 Pro is done as well. It's actually running the app on port 3003. So let's actually have a look at that so long. And this is what Gemini came up with. I really like this animation on the side. This looks awesome with the little heartbeat and the animations. This is so cool. And look at these little animations when I hover over these texts. These cards look really cool as well. I'm actually impressed. This is really, really cool. And now the design system agent is done as well. So let's have a look at this one. And just as a reminder, we asked the agent to try and replicate this kind of design, so this look and feel. And I think for the most part, it kind of achieved it. It looks like the same fonts. It's the same kind of color scheme, so not bad at all. It did fail to upload a Euro image, but I mean, we can resolve that easily enough. So yes, this is also not bad at all. It's very, very hard to decide. So which one would you go for? I would be really curious to know. Just let me know in the comments, which out of these 4 would you prefer? This was Claude Code's vanilla design. This was with the front-end design skill. Then we have this design from Gemini 3.1 Pro. And finally, this was Claude Code with a reference image and a design system. So for argument's sake, let's say that I actually preferred this version. So how do we now tell our project that this is the design we want to go with, and it can actually just discard the rest of the results? Well, what we can do is just go back to our initial Claude instance. So this one knows exactly what all the worktrees were. So now we can tell it, thank you for that. We managed to try out the different approaches, and I prefer the worktree with a design system. Please can you merge that into our main project, and you can actually delete the other worktrees. What I do recommend you do at this point is to simply close out all those terminals referencing those worktrees. So I'll remove this one as well as the design system. All we really care about now is our main branch. Let's send this. And what we'll notice in a second is that all of these new folders, these worktree folders, will be removed. And the new design will be merged into our main project. Alright, so it's removed some of these folders, but it struggled to remove the design system folder. And I think that's because there are these untracked files in there. But we can definitely ask Claude just to force remove that folder. That's fine as well. The important thing is that if we go into our main fitness tracker app, we can run dev. And now our main app running on port 3000 has that new design. How cool is that? Git Worktrees is just one of the many advanced topics that we discuss in my community called Agentic Labs. This is a vibrant community of people who like to build solutions using Claude Code, N8N, and many other AI solutions. We've got classrooms with structured videos to help you take your agentic coding or vibe coding skills to the next level. So consider joining. It's only $7 a month for the first 1,000 members. I hope to see you there. Then YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this other video, so click on the card on the screen. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.